realized that I haven't done just a pure health update in a while, so here we go. And I'm actually going to start off with some backstory that I don't think I've ever told before, but it's pretty important. So when I was 3, 2, I had Kawasaki syndrome, and that is an autoimmune disease usually found in middle-aged Asian males. But somehow this blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl got it, and I think they told me it came from like some carpet we had put in our house. Either way. So this disease is attacking my body, and when they're trying test after test and just infusions and spinal taps and so many needles, and my little body couldn't handle it. And so I developed this phobia. It's called trypanophobia. It's very real. You can look it up. It is the irrational fear of injection by needle or a hypodermic needle. It has pretty much consumed my life for 30 years. Any treatment that I have to have, any doctor visit, I always have my phobia in mind. Are they going to be receptive, or are they going to make fun of me like a lot of nurses have in the past? Yes, my eye does go cross-eyed. I'm going to cross that bridge in just a minute. There is a lot that I do to maintain my phobia. I see a therapist very regularly, and whenever I do have to have procedures done, my doctor prescribes me either lorazepam or Ativan that I can take beforehand. But I also supplement with pot brownies. They are legal. I buy them from mood.com, and they come straight to my door. Also, when I'm in stressful situations, my veins can do what's called vageling down, which basically means they just like disappear into my arm. It's a thing. It's a phenomenon. 2 things that you can do to help combat that are to combat stress, brownies, and to hydrate. My mom got me some Pedialyte and apple juice to mix together to pretty much chug before my appointment. The electrolytes help your veins to retain as much water as they can. So, I tell you about my phobia to tell you why I take oral medication for my MS. I take the Vumerity. It's 2 big pills twice a day. It's supposed to be at the same time every day. If not, then you get really bad side effects like flush and like overheating, and it's just really, really bad. Itching, it's terrible. Miserable. As my MS progresses, I've noticed short-term memory loss, brain fog, and it's like I have ADHD on crack. My brain doesn't focus on anything. And now, neither do my eyes. Still gonna get back to that. Flare-up that I'm most likely having right now is probably of my own making, and I'm ashamed about it. I can't remember to take my medicine, so therefore I miss doses, and it's not good. It's not good. So I'm probably going to be asking my neurologist to switch me off of the oral medication and do what a lot of other people with MS do, which is to have regular IV infusion treatments to deliver their MS medication. I haven't talked to her about that yet, so we haven't solidified that yet. However, she did call in for me 5 days of the Solumedrol, which is a steroid. The nurse just left my house. We just did the second of 5 treatments for this Solumedrol. Second treatment is underway. This is Nurse Syra, and she is the bestest. Considering my phobia, for me to request IV infusions versus oral medication, you know I'm serious. For me to request for someone to get near me with a needle, everybody should know I mean business. So now to my vision. My eyes are cross-eyed. My left eye here is fixed in the middle. So my right eye has full range of motion. I can go that way. I can go all the way to the left. My left eye, if I try to look that way without moving my head, my eye stops in the middle. So I can still look to my right and see clearly, but if I go even straight, I see doubles. If I go to the left, I see farther doubles, and I can see nothing at all. Well, it's not like black, but I couldn't drive like this. I can't. So, I say all of everything to say that whatever this is probably my fault, and I'm ashamed because my memory is just not good enough for me to keep up with my own medicine anymore, and MS just keeps finding new ways to take independence and take other things away from me. There's some other things that I've learned recently. So, like, I love rock music, old rock, or my favorite is emo pop punk rock. And if you know that music, there's a lot of like headbanging and dancing, and I can't do that anymore. I cannot participate in the music that I love so much, and that makes me really sad. I had tickets to go see Our Last Night with a friend, and that's kind of when I learned that. And I'm sorry, Rozzy, that we had to leave that show early, but realization was really big. So it's just another thing that MS has found a way to take away from me. I will have to relearn how to enjoy my music, which I will. Figure it out. I had stopped doing updates regarding my walking just because my flare-ups have been pretty consistently 6 months on, 6 months off. So I will need my cane for like 6 months, usually in the winter, and then typically the summers I can go without my cane. I usually still will carry it with me, or at least keep it in the car, just because balance is always a problem, even when I'm not in a flare-up and I can walk without my cane. But that's just kind of what I've noticed is like it's usually about 6 months on, 6 months off for me, which, yeah, that's not ideal, but I definitely still feel lucky. There are people who have it much worse than me. I still very constantly use my earpods. These I've done a video on about misophonia. Misophonia can affect a lot of different people with autism, people with MS, people with like TBIs, traumatic brain injury. It's really helpful to be able to tell the rest of the world to shh, even just for a few minutes. It's really helpful, especially if you go into like a spiral or sends you in a panic attack state. Being able to just quiet the rest of the world for a little while is really helpful. And like I said in the other video, they do not eliminate all sound. They just mellow the sound that is around you. You can still hear, your brain will pick out what's important, right? So you can still hear conversations, you can still hear the TV, you can still hear music you're listening to, but all of the white noise in the background, it will mellow it, it will eliminate it. Your brain will pick out what's important. I have figured out lots of situations in which these are helpful. One recently was just like if you're in a small space and there are lots of people and they're being particularly noisy, not like bad noisy, they're just talking like humans. Because I can't always handle that. I want to be a part of the conversation, but the noise and the like ticking and all of the everything that I hear, it will send me into a spiral, and I shut down and I end up sitting in a corner by myself, quiet, because that's all I can handle. But these help a lot with that, and you get to be social again, and it's great. We rode the boat, and on the way back, I don't think the boat ride caused whatever's going on with my vision, but it definitely happened like right after that. On the 4th, we went to the fireworks show at Kalija. The waters were crazy because of the amount of people. It was like being out in the open ocean is what it felt like. And I definitely got knocked around. Like, I know my head got knocked around. I did wear these for both the fireworks show and for being on the boat because the noise from the engine is a lot. You don't realize it's a lot until you have misophonia. But being able to quiet it is A+. But I did notice after that really choppy ride back home, when I got off the boat, I noticed that I was way dizzy. And then over the next couple of days, I noticed my vision just going completely wonky. And by the 6th, it was debilitating. And my boyfriend's parents had to help me drive my car back to Opelika, which I'm so thankful for them. But yeah, I would say loss of independence is the hardest pill to swallow.